Year after year, the homecoming game attracts the biggest crowd. Hi, I'm Chris Conley, along with Tony Hollander, getting ready for Week 6 high school football. And the homecoming game happens to be a really good one. DC Everest against Wisconsin Rapids. Tony, both of these teams come in with 3-2 records. Both of them have kind of high-profile conference losses. Wisconsin Rapids lost earlier in the year to Wausau West. Marshfield beat DC Everest. You can almost think of this as an elimination game. The team that loses tonight kind of loses their chance to win the conference title this year.
It's definitely going to be an uphill battle for that team that does lose. And so this is a pivotal game for both teams to come out of here with a win tonight.
And the team that wins tonight still doesn't control their own destiny. Wisconsin Rapids, if they are winners, they still have to play Marshfield. The Evergreens, if they win, well, then their Week 9 game on the road against Wausau West just becomes absolutely huge.
And that game in and of itself is big between the two schools because it's crosstown rivals when you think about it, especially with East out of the picture this year without having a team. That's the city rival right there.
Let me ask you two things. Go back to your days as a player when you were quarterbacking for Wausau East. Can you ever imagine a time when something happened during the school day that kind of affected your readiness to play at night? And I bring that up because at Wisconsin Rapids at Lincoln High School today, the school was evacuated. They had a gas leak at one of their boilers. Everyone had to go out of the school building. They weren't sure if the school day was going to be canceled or not. Then they came back in. That's just one little variable the game before the game.
Correct. I mean, that's going to definitely play into the psyche of the kids a little bit, but knowing that they had that 45, 50-minute bus ride coming up here, the coaches, the preparation, even though that's the one thing that you can't account for. I've always said, control the things you can control. You can control how you come out here and play the game. You can't control what happens in that boiler room.
Think back to your homecoming games, too. Everest homecoming, I don't think there's a program in central Wisconsin that's put more of its players into big college football programs, players that have gone on to have success in the NFL at the very highest levels. Homecoming's got potentially a lot of distractions, and yet you're also very aware of your program's history and standards when you know all the players that have come before you.
Homecoming adds that element of hyperness and just being able to go out there and perform. So there is a lot of pressure that is put onto this game, and the players know it. The coaches know it, because most of the time you're getting, especially the most recent graduates that are coming back from their college to see how the team is doing. So they've got an extra support that's in the crowd, and they just want to go out there and get it done.
Let's talk a little about these teams. Wisconsin Rapids has always been an option-based team. They've run more of it or less of it some years based on the personnel that they have. Rapids runs a lot of option this year because they've got the horses, they've got the personnel to do it. They've been running the option very well this season.
Correct. And being able to have the manpower and the ability to be able to do the misdirection, the run pass option, or just the multiple options within a play, that can lead to a team success. And Rapids has definitely had that opportunity this year and done a great job.
But tell me if this is not true. When you play an option team, there's always 2, maybe 3 plays where the ball's on the ground. That's just the nature of high school football. You pitch it behind someone. Players not ready for it. And who controls the ball in those, again, probably 2 or 3 situations can really turn the game one way or the other.
You've definitely hit it right on the head there, Chris, is that the ball will be on the ground on the option plays. The defensive end can come upfield just that extra yard, and it's going to cause chaos for the quarterback to determine. And what's going to end up happening, he's going to pitch the ball behind, and the running back's going to hit it off the fingertips. So in that situation, the defense for Everest has to be ready to pounce on that ball and get to that ball carrier and where the ball is at all times when they're playing defense.
Word or two about Everest, who looked good last week against Smash. Jack Bobinski, I thought, had his best game as a starting quarterback. He completed 11 of 15, 2 touchdown passes, which were both beautiful throws, and he wasn't intercepted. So he managed his mistakes and had a lot of success last week.
He did. It was phenomenal and an awesome experience to watch what he was able to do on the field. And, we talk about the passing, but he had some key critical runs in that matchup that kept the ball in Everest's hands.
Yeah, in the second half, he got into the red zone and ran over that defender and kind of staggered him backwards and got extra yards. So the Evergreens come in here feeling really good about their Week 5 resume as we move on to Week 6. Everest won the pregame toss. They've deferred, so Rapids will get the ball first. As we get ready for the national anthem and the opening kickoff, why don't we take our first commercial break as we're about 5 minutes away from kickoff between DC Everest and Wisconsin Rapids, a huge Week 6 rivalry game, when we come back on Zaleski Sports.
Thank you for helping Abbey Bank become the most highly recommended community bank.
Thank you to all of our customers for helping us be successful.
Thank you for putting your trust in us.
Thank you for your loyalty.
Thank you for helping us support our communities.
We are grateful for customers like you.
Thank you to all of our customers. We hope to see you soon.
Teams have completed their pregame warm-up, and again, I think we may be sitting some of the kids on the hill today. Stephen Hagen Field at Steam Stadium looks packed to the gills. The homecoming parade is fabulous. I think Evergreens have the best homecoming of any of the teams in central Wisconsin. You know, the high school is just up the road from the football field here, so it's kind of built in that we have 3 or 4 blocks of parade grounds. The homecoming court is coming out onto the field, too, for pregame as the fight song plays. Evergreens in the home green with the white numerals, black pants. Rapids in the road whites, tops and bottoms with red numerals. Joe Finnegan, who looks like $1 million, leads the DC Everest marching band. I'll jokingly tell you about that in just a moment. I believe we are going to introduce the homecoming court before the national anthem, or this group of young ladies is going to be singing the Star-Spangled Banner for us. My bet is on singing.
Based on how they're lined up, Chris, I think that's a good idea. Semicircle, middle of the field.
Right, they are about to be handed the wireless microphone. And sometimes when the homecoming court is introduced, they should not be within 2 miles of the wireless microphone. Yes, our student musicians, our student singers, will be giving us the national anthem. There's a chance of rain tonight. No, there's been a chance of rain for every high school football week. And again, the latest forecast is that any rain is likely going to hold off till later in the afternoon. It is noticeably cooler than what we've seen so far this season. We'll kick off at 54 degrees. We're going to go down into the 40s tonight, but probably after our game has already gone final. We'll go down to field level now for the national anthem.
Remove your cap and join in the singing of the Star-Spangled Banner, performed by DC Everest senior Elena Blyba.
I think we'll make a note to put new double A's in the wireless microphone. Nice job, ladies. Wind is dead calm tonight. We thank our game day sponsors, Era Pancakes, Merrill Iron and Steel, Wiggly Bar and Grill, and Ag Country Farm Services. Kickoff in 1 minute after these messages from Zaleski Sports.
Winter's coming fast, which means it's time to hit the trails. Bill's Service Center has all things you need to stay warm and dry on the trails this winter. With a full selection of jackets, bibs, helmets, boots, casual wear. And don't forget that Bill's is your chainsaw safety gear headquarters. Bill's Service Center is your one-stop connection for all your cold weather riding gear.
Don't freeze your jingle bells off. Get your cold weather riding gear at Bill's Service Center. Bill's Service Center, where the adventure begins.
Evergreens being introduced to the home crowd. They gather at the big sketchy tree at the 50-yard line. Both of these teams come in off of wins. Rapids trailed until halftime before they finally got on top of Hortonville, so that's a little bit of a head-scratcher. Hortonville's going to be below 500 when the season is done. Spash today is back home against Wausau West, and the Evergreens beat them a week ago. Again, it seems like we have played every week of the high school football season under overcast conditions and a threat of rain that by and large has not developed. So no complaints with any of that. 2 3-2 teams. Again, neither team would control their destiny for conference championship honors, but both of them need a win to stay in the conversation. Evergreens next week will be on the road at Hortonville. Tony and I and our Zaleski sports team will be there for that one too. So it's a drive over to the Fox Valley for Week 7. And again, the Week 7 and Week 9 games mean a whole bunch if Everest comes out with a win. Rapids keeps themselves in the conversation with a victory, but they'll also need a win later in the season against Marshfield. And Marshfield came up big last week, getting a late stand to hold off Wausau West in a game that seemed like it just teetered back and forth in the fourth quarter. Week 6, 2022 high school football. Gabe Golbach has it on the tee for the Evergreens, who will kick off. Whistle sounds, leg swings, lads, light this candle. Line drive kick taken at the goal line. Rapids will run it out. Blocking, tripped up by his own blocker and just across the 20-yard line. Rapids and the triple option to start from there. Everest coach Wayne Steffenhagen used to call the option the magic show. Who's got the ball? Who's hiding the ball? Teal Lucas, senior, is the Rapids quarterback. Again, not as much a threat to throw downfield, but it's his decision-making when he tries to get to the edge to run this option.
And you can see right away, Chris, that Evergreens know that, and they've already compacted the box.
Quarterback starts under center. Man in motion, pitch. Got a blocker, got some pursuit. This is a short gain. 2 or 3 yards. Brennan Huber, he's the lighter of the running backs at 165. He's a senior. 2nd and 6 coming up. You know, the danger when you run the option and everyone creeps in towards the line of scrimmage, if you've got a fast receiver, you can take a shot downfield. Single receiver out to the near side. We'll talk a little more about defensing the option because it really is assignment football. It requires a certain discipline from your defense. Fullback, Evergreens not fooled on who had the ball there. Forward for just 2 yards. Believe that was Caden Sager. Sager's the big kid, 195 pounds. No RPA guy, he gets it right. Leo Brostowitz carried. Here's 3rd and 4. 3 and out would be just what the doctor ordered for the Everest defense. Let's see what happens here. Man across, Handoff. And it's on the wing. Boy, I didn't follow the ball the right way either. Down the sideline and out to the 45-yard line. It's a gain of 15. A lot of the Evergreens thought the fullback between the tackles had the ball. I did too, to be honest with you. Connor Buboltz carries first down to the 44.
And Rapids quarterback did a great job of keeping his balance because he was stumbling there for a second. And obviously we see so many different things, college and high school. You hit the ground, plays dead versus the NFL. So it was a great job of him being able to get it and also make that good pitch over.
So Rapids comes up with a first third down conversion. Single receiver up high, quarterback under center. And handoff up the middle, Evergreen stay home. Yard or two. Leo Brostowitz again. 2nd and 8. Yeah, we talk about this being assignment defense because when Rapids tries to get to the edge, the Everest defenders have to stay with their man. If your man's the quarterback, if your man's the running back, that's who you have to guard. And if you come off your man and play the ball's going to get pitched to the man that you came off of, and he's going to be 15, 20 yards downfield. So you've got to trust your other defensive players that they have their assignment while you stick to yours. And that's the trickiest thing. It's the discipline of playing defense against the run. Here's a pitch, and the ball is bobbled. Big hit. No gain.
So, and there's that bobble that we started talking about, Chris, from the very beginning. You make a good hit while that ball is being bobbled, that ball's going to hit the ground.
Right. Huber couldn't turn upfield because he didn't have ball security there. So while he's juggling, trying to pull that ball into his body, the defenseman comes up, shoves him out of bounds. That play actually went backwards for half a yard. Yeah, and the trick for Rapids, that if you're going to run the option, you need 3rd and 5, 3rd and 4, 3rd and 3. 3rd and 8 kind of puts Rapids out of their comfort zone. So let's see what they dial up here. Again, single wing, man in motion, and that's, I think, going to be a false start. No. Evergreens jump into the neutral zone, and 3rd and 8 is going to become 3rd and 3. We're sponsored by Whitetail Properties. Looking for a hunting or recreational property? Call Brian Resch at Whitetail Properties. 715-213-4468. 715-213-4468 for Whitetail Properties. So this became a much easier 3rd down after the Everest penalty. Quarterback will keep it. Late pressure, had to throw too soon, and it's intercepted. There's the first turnover of the game. They're going to say that's incomplete. Hit the ground. Hit the ground. 4th down. Evergreen sent pressure, and that ball came out before Teal Lucas wanted to throw it. Rapids near midfield will not roll the dice. Punt team comes out. Clay Holman awaits this kick. Now remember, that's the Rapids quarterback who handles punting duties. So the Evergreens will have to account for that all night. Teal Lucas, the quarterback, in punt formation. He's rolling out, and he decides to kick it. It's a knuckler. Evergreens get away from it. Will it roll to the end zone? It won't. Evergreens with the worst possible field position. They'll start at their own 2. Tony, we saw a week ago, Spash went on 4th down early in the game. It cost them field position. It cost them points. There you pass on 4th and 3 and kick it away, and Rapids got the best possible result that they were looking for here.
Yeah, I mean, early on in the game, I think Spash probably really wanted to think about that one again because it did cost them good field position. Everest here obviously has to overcome it really quick.
Jack Bobinski will get this snap from under center. He'll be right at his goal line. Evergreens gave up 2 safeties last week, and this is shoved back into the end zone, stopped in play but lost a yard.
Ball carried by
Blake Bangston, -1, back to the 1. So the Rapids defense is stout up front.
You know, last week we talked about winning the battle at the line. Everest did a great job of doing that. And here they need to really work together as a team and get that win off the line and get out of the end zone.
Yeah, this exchange between quarterback and running back would have happened behind the goal line. So instead, Bobinski keeps it himself and moves from the 1 to maybe the 4-yard line. See how the Evergreens decide to play this, if they'll still stay conservative. I mean, if Rapids gets a 3 and out, they've flipped the field and will give themselves good field position for a second possession. Do you let Bobinski throw in this spot? Single wings to either side. Again, he was sacked for a safety last week. Snaps down low. He will throw from the end zone to the wing. Caught and right at the sticks. Flynn Hoffman looking across the way to where they spot it. And first down. Out to the 12-yard line. You know what? If I was Rapids, I think I'd at least want a measurement on that. Instead, the side judge motioned right away to move the chains, and the Everest home team chain gang obliged immediately. Once the chains are moved, again, you're not set up for a measurement anymore. So the Evergreens get a third down conversion, just like Rapids did. Between the tackles, Rapids' defensive front is strong. Blake Bankston, a yard.
Yeah, Rapids has done a really great job of keeping not allowing Everest to get those holes. So Evergreens are going to have to work extra hard tonight to break apart those holes for the running backs.
Yeah, I mean, 3 times on this drive. Between the tackles, nothing doing. Under center again. Evergreens thought about running a little option of their own. Instead, the quarterback keeps it himself. Bobinski had a pitch man. He had Flynn Hoffman out wide. Decided to keep it himself. Makes this a more manageable third down. It'll be 3rd and 6. Out to the 17.
And we know from last week, 3rd and 5 is not long enough for the Evergreens. They did a great job of converting on 3rd and 24 last week.
Yeah, the Evergreens were solid on third down conversions a week ago. This Rapids defense is a tougher unit than what they saw against Stevens Point. Spash is just a young team and probably a year away from playing their best football. Twins to either side. Straight drop, late blitz, sacked. Late pressure came. Bobinski is down back at his 7-yard line. A loss of 8, and the Evergreens will punt.
Ball slotted back to the 7-yard line, 4th and 15.
Rapids return man waits on the Everest side of the field. That's a good kick. Got some air under it, too. Will be taken back at the 50-yard line. Running it out is Connor Buboltz. Good punt coverage, too, for the Evergreens. It's a 41-yard punt and a 5-yard return. Rapids will start at the Everest 45-yard line.
And Chris,
Max Denny on the stop.
And Chris, we got the sack here that Everest is able just to quickly penetrate. Linebacker comes in, gets good pressure, and the defensive end just cleans it up.
Yeah, I mean, look, sometimes Bobinski holds the ball too long, and when the late pressure is coming, got to have that timer in your head. Rapids back on offense. Up the middle. Yeah, the Evergreens seem to have, between the tackles, diagnosed pretty well. This goes for just 1.5 yards. That's Leo Brostowitz. Again, Rapids was down 7-0 a week ago against Hortonville in the first quarter. Down 7-3. Finally got the lead in that game in the third quarter, and we're 17-14 winners. Quarterback keeps it. Yeah, there's the seam. You know what? Whoever had quarterback contain came off his man. Down to the 26-yard line. Matt Broshik. Quarterback realized right away, no one on him. So again, the lineman's got to have the quarterback. The outside linebacker's got to have the pitch man.
And on that one, the inside linebacker got trapped on the inside.
Yep.
Ended up getting right underneath, or right inside the coverage going on the tackle where the fullback was, and ended up just getting caught in the inside. Quarterback wide open.
Again, between the tackles, the Evergreens are stingy there. Nimitz at the bottom of the pile. Again, the last 2 first down plays, Rapids has gotten 1 yard and 2 yards. With Rapids being run-oriented, this has been a fast-moving first quarter. 4 minutes to go. This has the look of 4-down territory. Too long here for a field goal. Too short to punt. Teal Lucas from the pistol for the first time tonight. Jet sweep. Evergreens, wow, the defensive lineman saw that the wrong way. There's still a big hit, and it's still short of the first down.
That was a phenomenal hit. That is one where you played it right, came off the defender, and was able to lay a good lick onto the running back.
Still, even though it was a punishing run, Rapids kind of got what they wanted to out of the play. It's 3rd and 3.
And that was a quick jet sweep. Defensive end came crashing down on that right off the bat. Another outside linebacker got caught.
Yeah, 2 plays here to get the 3 yards. They would go on 4th if they're stopped. Teal Lucas under center. Fullback. No, out on the wing. Boy, again, that's twice. I didn't have it. Lucas still has the ball, and Lucas has a first down into the red zone, down to the 14-yard line.
And Rapids is doing a really good job of hiding the ball as they're going through. I mean, this triple option is really paying off dividends for them right now.
I find it super annoying to call a game like this. It's hard to see who has the football from up here. We need to call this game instead of from the press box, from the sidelines. We'll get a better look at this. Whistle, and the Evergreens are taking a timeout. Rapids goes into the red zone with 3:23 to play in the first quarter. It's 1st and 10 when we come back on Zaleski Sports.
Cropping Central, conveniently located between Edgar and Stratford on County Road N, 715-352-2843. Let Cropping Central take care of your field plans, yield mapping, crop scouting, and crop protection, including hail insurance. Cropping Central, 715-352-2843, and visit them on County Road N, west of Edgar.
It's 0-0 at Steam Stadium. Evergreens have taken a timeout on defense, and Wisconsin Rapids is marching. Chris Conley along with Tony Hollander, and we welcome everyone who's joining us on the Zaleski Sports Red Zone channel. Rapids was able to flip the field on their first possession. The Evergreens had to punt from deep in their own end. This drive started at the 49-yard line, and Rapids has the ball down to the 14. And it's the quarterback keeping. There's the pitch, and down to the 11-yard line. Rapids works that option. Got 4 yards on first down. That was Arlen Sangster who came up. Ideally, you'd like to play the pitch man closer. You don't want to give him that much of a cushion. Quarterback goes all the way over to the sidelines to get his play, so Teal Lucas counting up the footsteps here. Lucas will be under center on second down. Quarterback stumbled there. That messed up the timing. And Brostowitz for a yard. Quarterback did not get away clean on the quarterback to center exchange. 3rd down and 6. Everything from Rapids has been on the ground. Quarterback Teal Lucas has only thrown once. He's 0 for 1. Evergreens with a late defensive substitution. Matt Groshek comes in. So the Evergreens want to put an extra player in the box here. This play has taken a long time coming in. Rapids got to hurry to get this off. 3rd and 6. Into the final minute of the quarter. Quarterback will pass. Throws over the middle. Receiver's open. Too tall. Receiver open in the back of the end zone. You know what? The Evergreens had everyone creeping up. The receiver out in the flat was open too. Evergreens defense was run-oriented and almost got burned. Rapids will go for a field goal on 4th down. 4th and 6. And they're going to try this as a kick. From the 17, here's a 27-yard try. No wind. Snaps a little low. Kick to the uprights is no good. Wide left. A short field. Rapids goes from the 49 to the 14 and then rolls snake eyes and gets nothing. Evergreens are only going to get the ball for the second time here in the first quarter, and there's under a minute left to play. So Rapids controlling the ball, controlling field position, but no points. The ball will come out to the 20-yard line after the missed field goal from the 17. Jack Bobinski will work under center. Two backs behind him. Fakes the handoff rollout. Pressure and swallowed up. Second time Bobinski's been sacked. And at least at this stage in the game, the Rapids defensive front is winning the line of scrimmage.
They're 100% winning the line of scrimmage. And from what I can see, that actually has a look of what it was in Marshfield.
Yeah. And the Evergreens struggled and didn't give Bobinski a lot of time to throw. Bobinski's got to be quick on the release. Just not enough time to look for receivers downfield when Rapids sends extra pressure. So here's 2nd and 20. And that will be the final play of the first quarter. DC Everest nothing, Rapids nothing will change ends, and the Evergreens again are backed up in their own end. Back after these messages on Zaleski Sports.
Edgar Family Restaurant is located just south of Highway 29 in Edgar and open 7 days a week from 6 a.m. to 9 p.m. Breakfast, lunch, dinner, snack, drink, dessert, get it all at Edgar Family Restaurant. Homemade food to fill your belly and your soul. Daily specials including Friday fish fry, soup, salad, pies made from scratch, and a full menu of choices are yours at Edgar Family Restaurant. Give back to those who support our community. Give back and visit Edgar Family Restaurant for breakfast tomorrow, then stay for lunch and dinner too. Edgar Family Restaurant is a proud backer of Wildcats football.
Rich, creamy, and fun. Point Craft Soda. Caffeine free, made with 100% real sugar. From Stevens Point Brewery.
Negative yardage in that first quarter for the Evergreens. Chris Conley here at Steam Stadium for homecoming, and the Evergreens start the second quarter, 2nd and 20. Tony Hollander is with me to our left. We've done all the Everest games so far this year. You know that we've got some Rapids fans watching in as well, and welcome into our Zaleski Sports coverage. From the pistol, Bobinski on 2nd down. Quick drop, got some pressure, and now takes it himself. There's lots of room there. Cuts back to the middle. Got back all the sack yardage, and 2 more. 12-yard gain. Evergreen's biggest play from scrimmage. Boy, Bobinski was smart about that. He knew that there was extra pressure up the middle which meant that the far sideline had a lot of room. 3rd and 8.
Yeah, he did a really good job of rolling out really quick, moving where the line wasn't going to get to him. Nobody out in the flat and was just able to take advantage of that one.
You know, at the start of the season, the Evergreens would have said Bobinski's kind of a drop-back pocket quarterback. Tony, as you've noted, he can beat you with his legs. 2 to the near side on 3rd down. Quick drop, pressure coming. Bobinski steps up again, splits the tackles forward. He's short of the first down by a yard or a yard and a half. And a penalty marker comes in where Bobinski was brought down. If this is something in the pile, we could be adding yardage on. Horse collar and a first down for the Evergreens. So, I mean, on this sequence, the Evergreens had 2nd and 20, and they're going to keep this drive going.
And it's by the legs of Bobinski.
Right.
So we've come back from 2nd and 20 so far tonight, 3rd and 24 last week.
The horse collar is a 15-yard penalty, so we'll move the ball all the way out to the 43. And you know what? If Bobinski shows that he can burn you with his legs, it's going to change the way the Rapids defense plays this game. Maybe you can't send extra pressure all the time if the quarterback's going to get outside and no one has contain on him. 1st and 10. Evergreens handoff on the ground. Blake Bangston, 11 yards. First down. So the Everest offense looks like it's finding its sea legs. Football Tonight brought to you by Stone Innovations of Plover, here to serve you, specializing in the fabrication, design, and installation of stone countertops. They operate with the most advanced fabrication equipment in the industry. Begin your order today online at stoneinnovations.net. One word, stoneinnovations.net. Rapids missed a first quarter field goal from 27 yards. Evergreens are now driving after that miss. This started back at the 20. They moved to the 45. Pitch, no throw out to the flat. Little bit too far in front for Flynn Huffman. Evergreens trying a little magic show of their own. Play action. Quarterback then kept that ball on his hip and then threw out to the flat. So there's a lot going on there for an incompletion and 2nd and 10.
And he's lucky that that was just thrown forward. There was not much margin of error on that one.
Right, if that's a lateral, that's a live ball, and then it's a mad scramble.
You know, going back to that run that the Evergreens had to get the first down on this in this part of it, that was the first time that I would say that the Evergreens have won the line of scrimmage against Rapids.
2 receivers up high to throw. Lefty to one-on-one coverage, got a step, it's caught, touchdown Evergreens! No, they're going to mark him at the 1. Mark him at the 1. They're going to say the legs of Preston Miller were down. 43-yard pass, and the Evergreens really needed the 44th to get into the end zone. First big play of the game. No huddle. Evergreens right up to the line of scrimmage. Bobinski under center keeps it himself. Synder in the end zone. Touchdown, Evergreens.
Going back to the play that set it up, just a wonderful throw here. Got the play action pass. Leads his receiver right there, who other than Miller, and just able to get it down in there. And of course, next play, Bobinski just finishes it on him.
Preston Miller has been the big play receiver for the Evergreens. I think Flynn Huffman may be faster, but Preston Miller, sure hands for big yardage plays. Point after touchdown is good, 7-0. Rapids will get the ball. See if the Red Raiders have an answer when we come back on Zaleski Sports.
For years, our Stone Innovations customers told us they love our countertops, but only wanted to deal with one company for their entire kitchen project. Well, we've heard you. So now Stone Innovations can give you a brand new kitchen with the same high quality products, selection, expertise we've been giving you for years. And now we can give you that brand new kitchen in just 1 week. After sitting down with our designers, picking out cabinets, countertops, and flooring, it will only take us 1 week to install everything. Stone Innovations, new kitchens in just 1 week.
Welcome back at Stephenhagen Field. Chris Conley and Tony Hollander, the Evergreens, strike first. 9:49 to play in the first half. 43-yard pass down to the 1, caught by Preston Miller. Then quarterback Jack Bobinski took it in himself. Rapids must be kicking themselves a little. They had all the momentum in the first quarter. Dominated possession, dominated field position, no points. And the Evergreens strike quickly. This one will go into the end zone for a touchback. We're sponsored tonight by Nicolay Bank. Personal banking that works for you. Locations in Stevens Point, Wausau, Colby, Medford, and Edgar and Merrill. How's the Everest defense been in this game? Stingy between the tackles, occasionally trouble with the outside contain.
I think the best way to describe them, Chris, is a bend but don't break. They've bent, and they've bent pretty well. They've been dominated by the Raiders front seven, but they have not broke, and they're keeping their level of enthusiasm high.
Teal Lucas, the quarterback. Handoff again, and again, short yardage. Rostowitz, 2 yards. And when you run the option and you're a methodical team, you've got to keep it a one-score game. Rapids could be forced out of their game plan, say if they're down by 2 or certainly 3 scores, then you put this team having to use parts of the playbook that they don't want to use.
Yeah, that's a good observation with the run pass or with the running triple option. Passing is not a big component of that. So if Everest can get a 2-score lead, that's really going to put Rapids to their wall to the back.
Yeah, I mean, and when you say passing is not a big component of it, it's just not something you spend a lot of time on in practice. You're running the triple option when you're putting in all of your game offense. That's what you're focusing on. So just the team would be in an uncomfortable spot. Quarterback keeps this again, no pitch, and Teal Lucas is forward for 4 yards, 5 yards here. It's going to be 3rd and 3. Sangster, Dovchek up to make the stop for the Evergreens. You know, if the Evergreens get a stop here on 3rd and 3, this part of the field, this time of the game, Rapids would punt. A moment for the Everest defense. Crowd begins to make some noise here at Steam Stadium. They'll give, the quarterback will keep it. The pitch, he didn't get it. Evergreen strung that out. Rapids is 2 yards short. Sangster again came over to stop Connor Buboltz. Now the quarterback handles the punting duties here. I don't think they're going for this on 4th down. Boy, I can't imagine that. You're only at your own 28-yard line. They're staying in an offensive set. This is a big moment for an early part of this game. Long count. They're just trying to draw them offside. They're not going to snap this ball here. And Rapids takes the timeout. So Rapids, a little bit of gamesmanship, but they are indeed going to punt on 4th and 2. We'll be back after these messages. You're listening to Everest Rapids football on Zaleski Sports.
What Heartland Farms is a large potato and vegetable operation. Who Heartland Farms is a group of hardworking, dedicated people who have a common vision.
Heartland Farms is an accumulation of individuals who came from family farm backgrounds, grew up on family farms, and now have come together as one larger team to own and manage a much larger farm enterprise.
Well, Coach Conley says the right decision here is to punt. Rapids sure thought about it, but I mean, they're backed up in their own end and really can't go down by 2 scores. It is the quarterback who handles the punting duty, so let's see if Teal Lucas indeed is kicking this away. He is. It's almost blocked. Tumbling kick, and boy, that takes the best Rapids roll ever. It's going to roll down to the 23-yard line.
And that's one of those kicks that, because it's a more of a soccer style kick, and it's going to have more of a kickoff type of a tumble to it. So you're really hoping that it's going to catch that right bounce, and it's just going to keep going and going and going.
That was a 59-yard punt. It was in the air for half of that, maybe less.
And sometimes it's going to work in your favor. Other times it's going to come back to bite you.
All right, Evergreens marched down the field and scored the last time they had the ball. It was an 80-yard touchdown drive. Do that again, and the Evergreens put themselves in the driver's seat tonight. Snaps down low, pass to the flat, dropped. And again, that pass was behind the line of scrimmage, but it was forward, so it's an incomplete pass. 2 drops for Flynn Huffman. Flynn's had a couple of drops over the course of the year, but then some of the catches that he made have been absolutely spectacular.
And other than the clock stopping on that one, I'm comfortable with that incompletion because I don't think there was going to be positive yards on that. Rapids was right there defensively.
2 backs behind Bobinski on 2nd and 10. Back to the ground game. Wow, this didn't get back to the line of scrimmage. I think that's Caden Bankston who carried there. 3rd and 12. Well, as we've known the last couple of weeks, 3rd and long, no problem for these Evergreens. In fact, Flynn Huffman with the drop on 1st down comes back in for 3rd down. The Rapids defense would feel good about themselves if they can get a 3 and out, get the ball right back to the offense. See if Rapids sends an extra rusher here. The Rapids blitz has been getting home from the pistol. Bankston is the blocking back next to Bobinski. Late rush coming. Quarterbacks took a big hit and had to deliver that a little bit too early. So 2 incompletions and a run for a loss, and the Evergreens go 3 and out. Had the lead 7-0, couldn't do anything with the ball.
And now Everest wants to be able to flip the fields right back on Rapids by, maybe getting a 60-yard punt of their own and turning the fields. Haven't seen it yet this year for Everest on special teams.
That's almost blocked 2. Takes a bounce and goes sideways. Rapids got a friendlier roll on their punt. This one was like it was coming out of the sand trap. Hit and went sideways to the 46. Rapids has had better field position than the Evergreens have had all through the first half. But it's the Evergreens who lead 7-0. Again, by getting the 3 and out, Rapids punted from their 28, and they get the ball back at the 43. So, they've gained a lot of field position just on the exchange of punts.
And not much time off the clock either on that series for the Evergreens.
Teal Lucas will be under center. Man across. Lucas keeps it himself. Has that seam and has 11 yards. Again, boy, when Lucas gets to the outside, the Everest defense is not staying at home. Got to talk about that at halftime. So Rapids right down to Everest territory to the 43. This just feels like a game that could go either way. Between the tackles again, boy, the Evergreens, nothing in the middle of the field. Caden Sanger, 2 yards.
Yeah, they've done a great job of containing the middle and not allowing that, or between the tackles, and not allowing that big play. They just got to keep that quarterback contained just a little bit and make him pitch it a little bit sooner or not be able to keep it and just get to the ball carrier.
Under center on 2nd down. Between the tackles again, there's a little more push for Leo Brostowitz. It'll be 3rd and 4. Maybe 5. Carson Dobchek made the stop for the Evergreens. The ball's down to the 37-yard line. This could be 4-down territory. Put a running back behind the quarterback under center. Evergreens load the box. Quarterback will throw one-on-one behind the defense. That's the danger of the triple option. Everybody creeps up. You get a receiver behind them, and you get a touchdown. There's the equalizer with 5 minutes to go until halftime. 37-yard touchdown pass. Tony, did you happen to get a number on the receiver who was all open and alone? We'll pick him up on the replay.
84.
Aston Fisher is out to try the extra point to tie us. That kick is almost blocked, and it's good. Just snuck it inside the near upright. Tied 7-7. Let's take a quick break. Evergreens get the ball back. 2 timeouts and a lot of time to work with till halftime. Everest Rapids football on Zaleski Sports.
Grassland Dairy Products is your match for an exciting new career today. Go to grassland.com to see the opportunities waiting for you. Browse through careers like CDL truck driver, shipping and receiving, line tech, quality assurance, forklift, maintenance tech, inventory associates, and more. Great compensation, weekly pay, and zero premium company paid health, dental, and life. Apply now at grassland.com or in person at Grassland Dairy Products, Fairground Avenue, just south of Greenwood.
Evergreens to receive the ball. Both teams have set up their scores on long passes downfield. Evergreens were in the end zone on a Jack Babinski 1-yard touchdown run, but it was a 43-yard catch by Preston Miller that brought them down to the goal line. Rapids answers with a 37-yard Teal Lucas touchdown pass of their own, 7-7. Kick will go to the end zone, a touchback. And the Evergreens had the ball up 7-0, and their last possession was a 3-and-out. I think there's a little more pressure on the Evergreens to do something. 1st and 10 from their 20-yard line. Tony Hollander right now is dissecting the replay. We're trying to slow it down and freeze it to see who had the touchdown catch. If not, we'll update you at halftime.
Number 24. 24, who we got up there?
That's Evan Matthews. Pass to the flat on 1st down. Rapids has this well defensed. In fact, it's a catch that's going to go back for a loss. Pearson McDonald, -1. Evan Matthews, senior, 5'11". Edgar, head football coach. Jerry Sins, our halftime guest. Twins to either side for the Evergreens. And throwing, late rush, 3rd sack for the Rapids defense. Again, these pass plays just taking too long to develop. Back to the 14. The Evergreens are in danger of a second 3-and-out in a row. And if so, Rapids would get the ball with lots of time, 2 timeouts, and time left on the clock. The Evergreens need to move the ball out to the 30-yard line. 1 receiver down low, 3 up high. Snap is low, roll out, here comes pressure again, and Babinski is sacked again. And Babinski's slow getting up. So the Evergreens go back 16 yards. They'll be punting from their own end zone, and Rapids is going to get great field position. Cohen Preby to kick this away. Cohen, promising basketball player, saw his dad before the game. Said he loves watching the Zaleski sports coverage. Love having you. Wobbling, bouncing kick. Takes kind of an Everest roll out to the 45 and rolled back a little bit down to the 44 by Max Denny. Short field for Rapids, tied 7-7.
So this is about the time that Everest needs to dig deep with the ball. With just under 3 minutes to go in the half, the Everest players got to get hyped up and get each other hyped up as well to make some big plays.
Tell me that Rapids doesn't have a huge edge in total yardage in this first half. That's lopsided. Pitch, trying to get the wing. First man missed, and then a gain of 6 yards. Connor Boobholtz down to the 39-yard line. I'll give him 5.
And it appears Rapids, I mean, while they haven't abandoned the in between the tackles, they do know that they do have the speed on the outer edge. So Everest is going to have to make some adjustments here at halftime to counteract that.
Yeah, the Evergreens have struggled with contain on the outside. They sure have. And, you know, as the game goes on, the play calling, you kind of know what you have and what you don't have. Quarterback keeps this. First down. That was Connor Boobholtz. Down to the 31-yard line. First down. We'll go under 2 minutes to play in the half when Rapids snaps the ball next. At this stage of the half and at this position on the field, time is not really a factor. In fact, Rapids wants to make sure they take enough time off the clock that the Evergreens don't get the ball back. Rapids has moved the ball, but we're tied here. Quarterback pitched. That was a bobbled pitch for a moment, and it's going to be a loss of a yard or two. Strung that out. Caden Sanger. Dylan Neuendank came up, 2nd and 11.
And that whole play for the Evergreens, wonderful job. They won the battle at the line. The linebacker took the fullback, which was supposed to happen. The outside linebacker took the quarterback, and the defensive back contained and didn't allow that running back to get on the outside.
That's a great breakdown, Tony, because like we said earlier in the game, this is assignment defensive football. You've got to have your man, and you got to trust your teammates that they have their man. If you play the ball's going to be where you don't think it's going to be. Going to pass here over the middle. That's behind the receiver, incomplete. Third down. Again, you run the option, 3rd and long isn't your friend. I mean, the Evergreens, kind of a more pass-oriented team, can bail themselves out with something down the field when they have the ball. Rapids on 3rd and 11. What do you do here?
I think one of the biggest things for Rapids on this play, though, is going to be that it's not about getting all 11 yards. It's going to be about getting half of that, because this is definitely two down territory.
Yeah, Rapids would go on 4th down in this spot. Under a minute to play until halftime. They're in Everest territory. Evergreens wanted a timeout. Didn't see it. Quarterback rolls, throws to one-on-one coverage. The receiver's all alone. He is chipped out of bounds inside the 10-yard line. Again, Everest is all the way up, and then that's twice now that a Rapids receiver has gotten behind everyone on defense. It's Evan Matthews, who has the touchdown catch, brings it down to the 5-yard line. Got out of bounds, stops the clock. Yeah, the Evergreens wanted a timeout. Coach Tim Strelo, like he was sitting on a spring, jumping up and down, and the referee didn't see him. 1st and goal. In a tie game, late first half. Handoff. Gets a couple of yards. It was Leo Brostowitz down to the 4-yard line. Dobchek makes the stop. Rapids will run the clock all the way down. They can take a timeout if they wish. They have 2. Under 30 seconds. Under center again. Handoff. Brostowitz, is he in? He's bent back. He didn't get in. Forward progress to the 1, not in. Rapids will stop the clock. 15 seconds left. Rapids can still run the ball right at the 1 yard line, and even if you don't make it, still have that one timeout remaining. Here at Steam Stadium, DC Everest High School Band and the dance team, if you're among the big crowd for homecoming. Jerry Sinn's Edgar coach, as his team's looking to get back on track after a loss to Colby. That doesn't happen very often for the Edgar program, that's for sure. We're sponsored by Fleet Farm. Need fall cleanup supplies? Get it at Fleet Farm with deals on mowers, carts, power equipment, grass seed, and more. Everything you need in one stop at Fleet Farm. Chris Conley, Tony Hollander. Late first half tied 7-7, but Rapids is 1 yard away from changing that. It is third down. If Rapids loses yardage, what do they do on fourth down? That's a puzzle if they get pushed backwards. Rapids looking to move forward here. Teal Lucas under center. Handoff, goal line, is he in? Touchdown on second effort. Rapids from 1 yard out. Connor Buboltz. First time that Rapids has had the lead. Ashton Fisher will try the point after touchdown. Kick high, arcing, good, 14-7. Why don't we take our final break of the first half? The Evergreens will get the ball with 13 ticks remaining until halftime. You're listening to Week 6 high school football from Zaleski Sports.
When the last thing you need to happen does. One of our 16 mobile service trucks from Sherrill Tire and Service Center can keep you rolling and growing. Sherrill Tire and Service Center, your locally owned farm tire specialist.
Sherrill Tire and Service, keep growing and rolling with us.
Find your location at SherrillTire.com.
I cannot get this. Oh my gosh, are you kidding me?
All right, a 5-yard penalty assessed on the Evergreens on the point after. So Rapids will kick off from the 45-yard line, back through the end zone, touchback. I would think the Evergreens are taking a knee and then regrouping in the locker room. Evergreens would get the ball to start the third quarter. Yeah, the Evergreens are going to keep everyone in tight. The Everest has been kind of quiet tonight. One big pass that got them into scoring position, and that's it. Going to hand off here. Blake Bangston, 2 yards, and that's going to do it for the first half. Rapids 14, DC Everest 7. Edgar head football coach Jerry Sims at halftime. We'll be back with the third quarter on Zaleski Sports.
Time now for the Jerry Sin Show, recorded at Edgar Family Restaurant in Edgar, and sponsored by Security Health Plan. Security Health Plan, promises kept, plain and simple. Visit securityhealth.org today.
Stretch of the imagination. Now they hand it off, and they're going to bust it outside again, and they're going to score. Going all the way is going to be Colby Weisenberger.
Welcome to the Jerry Sin Show. I'm your host, Jason Zaleski. Jerry Sin Show, sponsored by Security Health Plan. Promises kept plain and simple. And we are here at the Edgar Family Restaurant on Edgar's lovely north side, as I now like to call it. But it's a lot of fun coming here, Coach. Coach Sin's here for the first time this year. This show, we're going to recap a loss. And I know you want to keep those to a minimum, but in sports, that kind of thing does happen. 32-6, those were some of the scores we had seen from your side going the other way. Have you had any time to look at that game since Friday night?
Oh yeah, certainly we've looked it over. We actually got off to a great start. Kicked off to them, held them. They have a great punter. He punted into the end zone, so we got it under 20. Ran 2 plays and had a touchdown.
Yeah.
And 39 yards and 41 yards. And then we kicked off to him again, and we held him again and got the ball back. And then we had a play that very likely could have been another touchdown to hit a receiver right on the hands, and somehow the ball ended up getting thrown over his shoulder backwards right to their defensive back who was chasing them. And then the next play they got a touchdown and the game turned, the momentum switched, and it was just hard to get it back.
Yeah, matter of fact, you never got it back. That was the touchdown you mentioned, the 2 running plays. 2 plays are on the ground, and that touchdown, Weisenberger ran it in 41 yards. Never did get the momentum back after that. I know Tom talked to you after the game about the number of passes you had. That was unusual for your team, and you had said, yeah, well, when you're behind, we're going to pass like that. The interception you're talking about, that was on a 3rd and 5 on that second possession, right into the second quarter. But from there, you probably did have to pass a little bit, or at least you got to take that gamble sometimes when you fall behind.
Yeah, we had a couple guys open it. We overshot after that. We did complete a couple long ones, got down to the 13, 14-yard line. We probably should have gone, to a power formation and ran the ball in, but we didn't. So that was probably a mistake on our part. And then, of course, things just snowball, and it snapped the ball over for the punter's head in the end zone, and, some of these things, and things can get away from you pretty quick if you're playing a really good team.
A lot of coaches have said over the years, and maybe before my years, probably before your years, that you learn more after a loss than you do after a win. Is that true after Friday's game?
Well, I certainly think so, because when you're winning, you just take for granted everything that's happening. And of course, when you lose one, then you examine everything that happened much more closely and reevaluate what we should have done or what we might have done. And once again, it's on everybody. It's every coach, every player, every play. We'd run several plays where, as we examine the film, where 9 or 10 guys do a great job. But one guy misses his block, and that's the guy that makes the tackle, or whatever you see. That's just pretty much the way it always works. You usually always play better after a loss than you do after an easy big win. And of course, we had 2 easy big wins coming into the Colby game over Pacelli and Rajholt, and of course Colby is a very, very different team, especially physically, than those teams are.
We talked about this around this time last year. The WIAA went to a computer seeding process for the playoffs. This is actually, a lot of people don't know, this is actually the 3rd year. They did it in 2020, but there was no tournament that year. But they did it that year as well for kind of a test run. So back in the olden days, after the season was done, the reason I bring this up now, Coach, the wind is howling, the leaves are starting to fall, the weather is going to be cold, and after Friday night, we'll be 2/3 the way through the season, and people kind of start thinking about playoffs. So what I'm looking for again this year is just your opinion on that seeding process, because in the olden days, after a loss like this, you would be able to go to your seed meeting. You would tell the other coaches in the room, well, Colby is this division, we're this division, and a lot of coaches would nod, and they would maybe not look at that as heavily. But the computer, it's a loss is a loss. So your opinion now in year 3 of the computer seeding process?
Yeah, I don't know. I was never a big fan of the seating meetings, because it was just, time you had to take off on Saturday. If it was at your school, it was fine. But if it was somewhere 100 miles away or 150 miles away. Well, now it's taking up the whole day practically, because it took you 2 hours to get there and it took you 2 hours to get back.
Right.
But it was always okay to visit with the other coaches, and just talk and things like that. But I don't think it makes a whole lot of difference, to tell you the truth, who seeds or how they seed. If you got a team that's healthy and playing well, then you can play anywhere and you can continue to advance in the playoffs. And if you got some guys dinged up, or you're not playing as well, or you got guys suspended for grades or things like that, these things have much more bearing on how you do in the playoffs than how the computer seeds you.
Sometimes, Coach, you would drive 150 miles, and there could have been a coalition of coaches waiting that had already figured out the seeds before you got there. And that was one of the big driving forces to go to the computerized seeding, to eliminate those coalitions and alliances and that type of thing. Stratford in 2019 can tell you a story about how they were downgraded because of a coalition that they had run into that year. So those things will never happen again. After Friday, again, we'll be 2/3 the way through the regular season. You mentioned health. How do you grade your teams, or how do you categorize your team's health at this point in the season?
Well, I think we're pretty good. For some reason, we had guys in the middle of the first quarter last Friday appearing to be winded or not 100%. And I don't know if it was just a big game and the jitters and some of that, or if it really was the humidity and the temperature and some of that. But overall, we're relatively healthy. We have maybe a little ankle sprain here, a little knee bruise there, but it's not anything out of the ordinary, no.
We might talk about deer hunting later on in the show, and of course a lot of hunters talk about the rut, and that's when the bucks are chasing the does. They're trying to find their date for the fall. And homecoming week, maybe some of your bucks were chasing too many does during the week. We won't know that, but
that's a possibility. Homecoming week, a lot of times, is not your best game.
Let's see. Moving forward now, you got Abbotsford. So you go on the road. One of the few road games you have this year, and this one's not even that far away. We can almost see Abbotsford from the highway here. A surprising result for me, Marathon 56, Abbotsford 12. Maybe not so much surprising that one team beat another, but that's a big score from a team like Abbotsford, who had put up almost 40 points. They had put up 60 points already this year. And then 56-12. What do you know about the Abbotsford Falcons as we sit here today?
Yeah, the game shocked me. When I first saw it, I thought it was maybe flipped.
Yeah, somebody got the score wrong when they sent it in, yeah, right.
Because Abby was 4-0. The week before that, they'd had a huge win, I think, over Iowa, and they'd been playing well. So I fully, hope that this week it'd be two 5-0 teams playing each other. Well, of course, we got bumped, and they did too. So now it's two 4-1 teams coming off a loss. Both, of course, probably a little upset and a little hungry, but. Yeah, they have some very quick, small, shifty, fast kids, and then they have some really big guys. And I don't think they probably have less depth than we do. We don't have a lot of depth, but I think they probably have less. And but they play hard and so on. So obviously, we're going over there fully expecting them to be a little ticked off, just like our guys probably are.
I would say, arguably, they've got the two fastest guys in the conference, Castillo and Fuentes, and that's a dangerous combo when you've got some beef on your offensive line and then some smaller, shiftier, fast guys that you may not get an eye on right away. So tackling is going to be at a premium on Friday night. How do you get your guys ready for more speed on Friday night?
Well, yesterday was our defensive day, and of course we thought we did not tackle well against Colby. Now, they ran hard, but there were numerous cases where guys just ran into people thinking they're going to knock them down. And no wrap, no nothing, and of course the guy would bounce off, and then another guy had probably run into him, and he'd bounce off him. So we tried to re-emphasize, the wrap, and, pulling people down and hanging on and so on. Obviously with these smaller guys, you just got to get a hold of them, period, because like you said, they can hide behind those 300-pound linemen because they're only 150, and then all of a sudden they're gone because they're fast. So yeah, we're going to have to play some solid defense.
Yeah, I mentioned Fuentes and Castillo already over 1,000 yards combined on the ground for those guys. Again, they put up big numbers. You mentioned Iola. That was the 60-point game that they had, and so they're capable of that. Coach Jake Knappmiller is always going to put together a quality team. What do you suppose Jake is looking at when he's looking at your team coming in for Friday night?
Well, I'm not sure. This is the third year in a row we've played them at Abbey, which is crazy because of the way the schedule things will work. We've always had kind of big offensive games with Abbey for some reason. Like our games with Stratford are usually low scoring. Obviously, our game with Colby was 6-6 right up until almost halftime. So, usually they're low scoring games, but for some reason when we play Abbey, I think last year it was 30-16 at halftime. So both teams are pretty much scoring at will. So I don't know what to expect this year, to tell you the truth.
Yeah, well, we're looking forward to it. Of course, get down to the game. Abbotsford's just a few miles away. For those of you that can't make it, we'll have Tom King over there and Rachel to make sure people at home can see that game. But get down to the game. You can do one of these things. You're sitting in the bleachers, then you turn around and you wave your arms at the camera. That's always fun to do. So if you can get down there, because like Coach said, I mean, it could be a shootout. Something about Edgar and Abbotsford getting together. The winner of this game will still trail Colby in the conference standings, but a conference championship, I suppose, coming into Friday was here, and now it's out here a little bit. But football's a funny thing, and the ball bounces strange, and things can happen. Colby, still got to play Abbotsford. They've still got to play Auburndale, so there's that chance. But one of the two of you will have 2 losses when you shake hands on Friday night, probably out of the conference race at that point in time. The winner will likely turn, if it's you might even tell Jake, hey, can you please beat Colby on Friday night? But conference championship, I mean, we talked about now the computer seeding, and there's no conference championship math in that, but how important is chasing after now a conference championship?
Well, yeah, obviously Auburndale, of course, has been playing extremely well, and they're undefeated, and they have us week 8 and Colby week 9. Obviously, they got Abbotsford in there somewhere too. So as we talked about last week, there's a lot of big games involving, we got 2 5-0 teams now and 2 4-1 teams, and all of them are playing each other the last 2-3 weeks again. So there's a lot of things that can happen, and of course now after Marathon playing that well, of course Marathon's right in the middle of the mix too, kind of.
Yeah, they are. They're one loss right there with you. So Auburndale, just to mention it, because I think Auburndale is, the folks there probably won't say it's a surprise, and now I'll probably get a bunch of emails as I'm going to tell them it's a surprise to me a little bit. They've got Marathon at home this week, then they're at Abbotsford, then they've got you at home, and then at Colby. So their 4 toughest games are still ahead of them right now, especially after Marathon, surprising like that. So we've talked about this a little bit, but just tell me one more time and tell the folks at home just the competitiveness of your conference from top to bottom. It's a real tough conference this year.
Yeah, especially this year again. There's obviously 4 teams that, look 4 or 5 teams that look really solid, and you better be ready each week. It's like you said with the Marathon Abbey game last week, most people were thinking Abbey was going to win that game, and Marathon won it big, so anything can happen.
Yeah, Matt Annis with 5 touchdowns in that game. That's a big help when that happens, because Abbotsford had a special teams touchdown, and when teams score, that's usually a plus, right? If you think about those things, if special teams plays well, that's an advantage. If team scores, then that's an advantage right there, right?
Yeah, you usually win if you get a special team score,
Old ball coach Bill Parcells once said, and this is going to be one of my final questions about previewing Abbotsford, but the 2 of you have racked up a lot of yards this year. I mentioned their 1,000 yards combined. You've got well over that on the ground as well. Bill Parcells, his math was every 100 yards should equal 7 points. Does that seem like sound math to you?
Well, yeah, you would think so, even though a few of these games early in the year we had less than 300 yards total offense in a game, and we'd score 48 points or 45 points. A lot of that was due to special teams. If you started adding up punt return yardage and kickoff return yardage, well, then all of a sudden, Friday night, against Abbey, we had 200 and something yards again. and they also had 200-something yards till our final, 86-yard run, but yet the game had turned, and of course part of that was special teams again, with us doing some things that we don't normally do in special teams, but we did last week. So that's kind of a decent theory, but you can score a lot more points and less yards than that. I would say 50 yards maybe equals 7 points.
All right, yeah, especially some games,
right.
Especially the way some games work out. All right, we're 5 weeks in. It'll be this is week number 6. Passing, running. A lot of teams continue to move more to the air, less on the ground. You have resisted that for the most part, but aired it out a little bit on Friday night. How do you view your offense right now? Is that a team? Can your guys throw? Is that a place you want to be?
We haven't been nearly as successful at doing it as we'd like to, and of course, once again, part of it is drop passes. Part of it is lack of location a little bit, overthrowing a guy, underthrowing a guy a little bit. So it's always a combination of things. Sometimes, of course, then you get a little bit heavy rush too. We have to improve on it, obviously, because once again, when you play really good teams, it's nice if you can go about 50-50 pass run. And we haven't done that yet this year. We're working for it.
I don't remember who it was. There could have been a few guys that said it, but when you throw the ball, 3 things can happen and 2 are bad. So it may be a little less risk on the ground.
Correct. Yeah, we ended up with 3 interceptions last week. We had no fumbles. They fumbled the ball 4 times, but they got 3 of the 4 back. We only recovered 1 of them.
Yeah.
So they beat us in the turnover battle, which is always another really big issue in tight games.
Yeah. All right. So we're looking forward to that again. It's Edgar at Abbotsford, 7 p.m. kickoff. Get down to Abbotsford, watch the game. They got a nice set of big bleachers there, and you can stand around the outside. And I think it's a pretty nice place to watch a game, especially with the leaves falling. Over there, the leaves will fall onto the field, and you get that extra crunch on your cleats. And it's kind of a fun place for me, anyway, to watch a football game. So get down there and cheer on these Wildcats as they take on Jake Knapp-Miller's Abbotsford Falcons. All right, so I mentioned earlier, Coach, the wind is starting to howl a little bit. The leaves are starting to turn colors. I'm a newbie at it, but the guys start heading to the woods, trying to find, as they say around here, the turdy pointer. All right, but any pointer will do, and oftentimes it's a place or an opportunity to feed your family with the deer. We're talking about deer hunting. You were telling me a little bit beforehand, but recap for me your experience in deer hunting in Wisconsin.
Well, yeah, like I said, I only did it when I was in high school. I hunted when I was like 14, 15, 16, and 17 probably for 4 years in a row. Shot a couple doe. I think I never did get a big buck. Froze to death, which I wasn't crazy about. Yeah. And but since I started college when I was 18 with college football and stuff, I just never got around to it. As soon as I graduated from college, I was into coaching, and that always took up a guy's time. Of course, as soon as playoffs run clear into Thanksgiving week, right up to the week before Thanksgiving. All my brothers are big hunters.
We're back.
We're going to cut short our interview with Jerry Synder, who, by the way, wraps it up by saying, of course, we're going to win the state championship again this year. Rare that you would catch Edgar coming after a loss. Edgar is looking to bounce back against Abbotsford tonight. Abbotsford's usually a good program. I think they're down a little this year as Edgar looks to get back on track. Chris Conley and Tony Hollanders were going to get the third quarter underway between DC Everest and Wisconsin Rapids. Evergreens had a 7-0 lead on a Jack Bobinski 1-yard touchdown run set up by a 43-yard pass reception by Preston Miller. But Rapids scored twice after the Evergreens went 3 and out twice. A 37-yard pass from Teal Lucas to Evan Matthews, and then set up by another pass down to the 1-yard line. Connor Bootholtz ran it in, 14-7 Rapids. And you know what, Tony? In that first half, the best unit on the field was the Rapids defense by far.
Yeah, they really did dominate, putting a lot of pressure on Bobinski, which, as we talked about somewhere in the half there, Marshfield did the same thing and created a lot of havoc for the Evergreens offense.
But the Evergreens are down by only 7, and they'll get the ball to start the third quarter. On the tee, no wind. Line drive kick, touchback. Yeah, if there was ever a team that needed to talk through what was going on in the first half, adjustments are just hard to make in the high school game. It's not like Division I college football or the pros where you can just draw up some different plays, say, here, guys, do it like this. You're kind of locked into what you practiced during the week. But the Evergreens need better execution. And to start, when they have the ball, need better protection for quarterback Jack Bobinski. Singles to either side on first down. On the ground, second effort. That's an 11-yard run and a first down. So that's Blake Bankston. Evergreen spread the workload among 4 running backs last week. And we're sad to see that Simon Witt is not able to go again. Simon Witt missed the first 3 weeks, then got on the field, and then came off and is back on crutches. Yeah, the Evergreens had only 4 first downs in the first half. Misdirection here. Caden Bankston. He's got 5 yards on first down.
And already, just the first 2 plays, you've seen a different offensive line coming on.
Yeah,
and I
sure.
don't want to jump to a conclusion too quick, but it's nice to see that coming right out of halftime, that Everest is jumping out and controlling that line of scrimmage.
Yeah, you know what? Rapids outplayed Everest in the first half, but it's only a 1-score game. It's 14-7, and you get the ball. This is exactly the response that you want on the first drive. Spin move, but spun right into one of the linemen. Caden Bankston, no gain. 3rd and 5. So does this opening drive continue, or is it snuffed out after 1 first down?
I can see the Evergreens potentially going for a play action here. The challenge is going to be, is the offensive line going to be able to control that line of scrimmage, giving Bobinski enough time to find that open receiver?
Trips up high, and Bobinski can burn you with his legs too. Let's see. Straight drop, late pressure, finds the open man. Big gain coming here for Caden Bankston. That's where the pressure came from, and the Evergreens had dialed up the perfect play. Bankston out of the backfield, down to the 30-yard line.
And that is one of those, what we would call a pop pass later when I was a quarterback, and that was great. Running back right onto the backfield, coming in for that pop pass and finding itself wide open.
36 yards down the field.
Actually, Bankston does a great job of blocking right off the bat, and then it keeps going right off of it.
Yeah, and you know what? The trips up to the other side of the field attracted a lot of defense. That near side, a lot of space to operate. On first down. Back to Blake Bankston for 2. Boy, if the Evergreens take this ball, march 80 yards down the field and stick it into the end zone, game on for the second half. But again, it's the Evergreens who have to accomplish something, trailing 14-7. From the pistol, singles to either side. 3-step drop, protection's good for the moment, out to the flat, caught. Hoffman sheds a tackle, cuts back to the 10, to the 5, and down to the 4-yard line. 26-yard reception. Hoffman was shifty after he caught that ball, too.
That was a great job of staying on his feet and just breaking the tackle. Rapids, in that sense, really needs to be able to wrap up as best as possible. Not able to do it, and Everest goes for a bigger gain.
So our game takes over the Zaleski Sports Red Zone channel again. Chris and Tony, 1st and 10 after that pass reception for Flynn Hoffman. Evergreens are looking to knot this game if they can put the ball in the end zone. Bobinski is under center. Caden Bankston, second effort, down near the goal line, short. They'll spot him moving from the 4 to the 1. Evergreens have another play called right up to the line of scrimmage. Quarterback may keep it here. Yeah, Bobinski's second effort. He's shoved on and he's in. Touchdown, Evergreens! That's the Evergreens' best drive of the night. And it comes after Rapids dominated the second quarter and Everest gets even. Gabe Golbach to try the extra point. And we're tied 14 apiece. Everest with a long, methodical 80-yard drive to knot this game. Rapids waiting to get the ball for the first time in the second half when we come back on Zaleski Sports.
First things first with Mid-State Technical College. Dual credit programs earn you college credit in high school. Then choose a path that suits you. Use your skills to start your career or transfer to a university to continue your degree. Choose a new career. Transition easily and quickly by upgrading your skills. Or continue your education with dozens of classes to get you on your path. No matter your stage of the game, your first move is Mid-State Technical College.
We thank all of our game sponsors. Without them, our high school sports coverage on Zaleski Sports would be impossible. Evergreens with a really nice drive. In fact, their nicest drive of the game. Their touchdown drive back in the first half came on a big chunk play. But the Evergreens put together a nice run-pass mix to cover the 80 yards to open up the third quarter. Now we'll see if the Everest defense can hold up their half of the bargain. This kick is returnable. Got some air under it and taken at the 10-yard line. Not quite to the 30.
And I know I said it 2 plays into the half as far as controlling the line of scrimmage, but Everest did a really great job that whole series of controlling the line of scrimmage, winning that battle, and giving Babinski and their running backs enough time to make a play.
See what Teal Lucas can do at the controls of the Rapids offense. Again, Rapids a couple of times got pass plays downfield by getting a receiver behind the Everest defensive backs. Between the tackles, 2 yards. Brostowitz. Somebody hurt here? The officials signaled to stop the clock
Face mask penalty on the Evergreens.
because of a flag. A 5-yard face mask penalty.
And an automatic first down. Ball now on the 36.
Moves the ball out to the 36-yard line, and it is 1st and 10. Very few penalties in tonight's game. Quarterback keeps it, pitches. This is behind the line of scrimmage. It's strung out for a loss. And the Everest defensive player was smart not to throw him out of bounds, too. Matt Nielsen held up, so no personal foul there. Back to the 32-yard line.
That was 2 great plays by the Everest defense there, even though they did have that face mask penalty on there. But they're really doing a great job of controlling and not allowing Rapids to get into their flow.
This is 2nd down and 6. Again, the face mask, they got to replay 1st down after the penalty. After 5 yards was marched off. Handoff almost tripped up behind the line. This is going to be short. Brostowitz gets only 2 yards. 3rd and 7. What a momentum changer if the Evergreens come up with a stop on this 3rd down play. Jaden Zoich, last-minute substitution in. Matt Groshek is coming out. So the Evergreens are opting for an extra defensive back here. wondering if Rapids is going to try and sneak a receiver downfield. Boy, it's midway third quarter, but this is a big play. Long count. Quarterback's changing at the line.
That you don't see often in high school.
Handoff between the tackles. No, it's a pitch. Yeah, there it is. Evergreen swarmed to the fullback who didn't have the ball, and it goes to the outside for a first down. If the fullback did indeed have the ball, and he didn't, he's going to be stopped for a loss. It's hard to follow.
You know, the one thing that, especially in this series and what we've seen all game, is in between the tackles, the Everest defensive players have done a really good job of gang tackling, not allowing that fullback to go.
Yep. And Brostowitz is a big kid. It takes more than one player to get him down. This is between the tackles. It's a loss, -2. Brostowitz met by Wyatt Geyer. I'll tell you this, Tony, too, because both teams have taken a long time with their possessions. You're not going to get the ball a lot in the second half if we stay at this pace of play, which means when you have the ball, those opportunities are precious.
Absolutely. I mean, we saw it in the first half, Rapids taking control of most of the first quarter. Here, Everest came out with a strong drive in the third quarter, and now Rapids is taking the ball a little bit longer. So, yeah, time of possession is going to be very precious here for the second half.
I'll tell you, I mean, we're tied 14-14. You cannot go down by 2 scores in this game. You will not come back and win. Cut back between the tackles, big gain. Ball is loose. Who's got it? Evergreens do. Fumbled. We are waiting for an indication, and it's Everest ball. Teal Lucas had a big gain and coughed it up. Did we not just say that possession would be precious? The old soothsayer, Chris Conley, sees the game more or less right, and the Evergreens have the ball back.
Taking a look here of that play. Quarterback does a great job of getting up and in there. Gets the ball out there, doesn't keep it tucked in. Number 14 comes in and just takes a swipe at it, and Evergreens jump on it.
Just on the replay, close, but I thought that was clearly out before he was down. I think that was a fumble. Evergreens off a turnover, looking downfield into double coverage. Almost intercepted. Evergreens are lucky to get this back. I get that they're just high school kids and we see things clearly up here. That's one of the few not so good choices from the Everest quarterback today. You don't want to throw that ball. Double coverage, you got to find something else.
I do like the aggressiveness by the coaching staff of, sudden change of possession.
Yeah, I like a shot downfield there, but you got to find some other shot, not the double coverage. You hate turning it right back.
Correct, yes.
2nd and 10. Second man through. Blake Bangston, who has also fumbled the ball. Picked up, coming back the other way, and the team's trade turnovers. That's a Rapids touchdown. Carter Christie. Rapids takes the lead back. 45-yard fumble return. So the teams trade turnovers in the third quarter, but Rapids brings it back for the touchdown. Fisher for the extra point. That's almost blocked. It's good, and our new score is 21-14. The Evergreens got to get right back on the horse. They get the ball back when we come back on Zaleski Sports.
At Nicolet Bank, we believe that our hometown communities are the backbone of what makes Wisconsin special. From Crivets to Manitowoc and Algoma to Grand Chute, you see a thriving community with Nicolet Bank working as a partner, acting not as a corporation, but a community. When we serve together with local entrepreneurs and leaders, great things happen. That is our guiding principle. A strong and successful hometown means a strong and successful Wisconsin. We are proud to be a part of that. Nicolet Bank. Real people, real conversations.
Rapids gets points on defense and takes a 21-14 lead. Carter Christie picks up the Bankston fumble. And the Evergreens will start at the 20-yard line. Joe Finnegan looks like $1 million.
That one, the defender, that just popped right into number 42's hands and able to take it right there and keep going. And almost a little bit of an assist there by the referee taking out Babinski.
There you go. And Babinski's a gamer. He chased the big lineman back, too. On first down. Forward for 6. I'm joking with Joe Finnegan. I bought him from Amazon. You know, if you need to wear a necktie, Amazon's got every possible necktie. And Amazon's got a green and gold Everest-colored striped tie. And I said, our band director's got to have that. Bought one for myself, too. Don't tell anyone. 2nd and 4. Babinski under center. Handoff up the middle. This is Caden Bankston. First down. Burst through to the 35-yard line. I know the turnover for a touchdown, the scoop and score, hurts. But the Evergreens offense has been much more effective in the second half than what we've seen in the first half.
Yeah, at any point in time, turnovers are always going to be a game changer. And you want to win that turnover battle. Everest has done a great job with the offense, though.
Down by a touchdown. No panic here. Second effort. This is Blake Bankston. Fumbled before. Ball security there, and he's got 4 yards. From the 40 to the 44-yard line.
You know, you mentioned ball security. That's one of the big things that after a player does fumble it, coaches are constantly talking about, okay, that was the last play. You need to forget that and move on.
Yeah, it's funny. I mean, there are things that you want to remember. Blocking tendencies, weak spots in the defense, and then there are some things you want to turn the page from right away. Between the tackles, a yard. So this drive will come down to a 3rd and 4. Evergreens need the 45. Fast-moving third quarter. Evergreen scored a touchdown on the first drive of the half to tie us up 14-14. Carter Christie ran back an Everest fumble to give the lead back to Rapids. There was a point in this game where the Evergreens had a 7-0 lead, so both teams have had the lead. Rapids is taking a timeout. They want their right defensive setup for this 3rd and 4. We'll take a timeout, too. Can the Evergreens keep their drive going? They trail by 7. We'll find out when we return on Zaleski Sports.
At Express Employment Professionals, we place people from all walks of life in all kinds of jobs.
Hi, welcome to Express. Please sign in and have a seat.
Great, thanks. Great, thanks. Great, thanks. Great, thanks.
Chris Conley and Tony Hollander, homecoming week 6 for the Evergreens, and they find themselves down by 7. Got the ball and a 3rd and 4. And it was Rapids that took this defensive timeout.
Obviously, Rapids saw something in their defensive scheme that they weren't particularly happy about, or the matchups that were out there that for Everest were favoring the Evergreens. We'll see if the coaching staff for Everest changes things up here a little bit.
You know, because of the game flow and because you can't go down by 2 scores, if the Evergreens come up short, I bet they'd punt here. So this is a big 3rd down for the Rapids defense. From the pistol, straight drop, fakes, play action, and sacked. A 5th sack for the Rapids defense. There's a penalty marker down, and it's downfield. Boy, if this is a hold, and you know what? Flynn Huffman, the Everest receiver, just put his hands in the air like this is on the Rapids defensive secondary, and that sack is going to be wiped out, and the Evergreens are going to get a 1st down here. Face mask downfield on Rapids. A 5-yard face mask. But the Evergreens will get to replay 3rd down. So, I mean, it's not as good as, say, a hold or a pass interference call, but it lets the Evergreens fight again on 3rd down. New personnel. Pearson McDonald, Clay Holman come in. Boy, when Rapids sends that extra rusher and they blitz, I'd love to see Bobinski step up and take off.
From what I've seen, I would tend to guess that that would be open.
3 now to the near side with a man in motion. Pressure coming. Bobinski's got to get out of this and does not. So suddenly it's the Rapids defense that's asserting itself again. Back-to-back sacks.
And that was the Rapids defense that we saw in the first half, where they were controlling the line of scrimmage. It wasn't the Rapids defense that we saw in the first series that the Evergreens came out at the beginning of the second half.
Cohen Preby to kick away. Well, now there's going to be pressure on the Everest defense because they're down by a touchdown and you really can't afford to give up more points. Bouncing, rolling. This is picked up. That's a live ball. Down at the 35-yard line. Boy, that's a risky play to even pick that up.
That's normally a play, especially in high school, that the coaches will say, just let it go.
Yeah,
just
stay away from that, sure.
I mean, there's more things that are going to go wrong than right.
And what did you get out of that risky play? I think you picked up 4 or 5 yards. Heartland Farm sponsors high school football, a 5th-generation potato and vegetable farm, producing many varieties of chipping potatoes. They're farming 27,000 irrigated acres and growing, the cream of the crop in the potato farming business. Learn more at heartland.farm. That's heartland.farm. 1st and 10 for the Red Raiders. Handoff, second effort, breaking a tackle. It's Rapids' best gain on 1st down in a while. 9 yards.
And again, Chris, that's going to the outside. Now, I mean, they're not getting much in between the tackles, but the breakdown is coming from once they hit outside those tackles.
Under a minute to go in a lightning-fast 3rd quarter. Each team scored a touchdown. Rapids led by 7 at halftime, lead by 7 now. They've got the ball, and they're out near midfield. The whole playbook opens up on 2nd and short. They play it conservatively. I think a flag just came in.
If it stands, that's definitely the best run in between the tackles all game.
Illegal shift will wipe out the 1st down. So this would be 5 yards back from the line. So we'll replay 2nd down. It'll be 2nd and 6. Where the Everest defense really can't afford to give up points. That's a penalty where the defense is going to need every break they can possibly get. And there it is. Rapids does not have to snap the ball before the 3rd quarter ends. I think they are going. Yeah, they're going to run one more play here,
or at least try drawing the Evergreens off.
Between the tackles, nope, quarterback has it. Evergreen stayed at home there, a gain of about 2 yards for Teal Lucas. 3rd down and 3 when we start the fourth quarter. The teams will change sides. Rapids with the ball and a 21-14 lead on Zaleski Sports.
When buying or selling land, the biggest decision you make is choosing your representation. Whitetail Properties is the top real estate company for selling hunting land, recreational properties, and farms. Our nationwide network of sportsmen, farmers, and investors offers a great opportunity for you to capitalize on the true market value of your property. In central Wisconsin, Brian Roosh is your local land specialist and is ready to help you get started on all of your property needs.
You know better when you see it.
All right, 1, 2, 3.
But sometimes it's a little harder to tell what better looks like, and you could use a little help.
Thanks, Mom.
Security Health Plan. Everything you need in a health plan. Everything you'd expect from a good neighbor.
DJs Sears and Roebuck get the crowd jumping around as we get the fourth quarter underway. Chris Conley and Tony Hollander. 3rd and 3. Single receiver way up high. Does Rapids dare to take a shot with him? No, sir. Handoff. 1st down. Brostowitz out to the 48, and the chains will move. Gained 5.
Chris, we talked about it in the third quarter. I mean, just recently, that possession time is going to be critical. Definitely cannot allow Rapids to score on this drive. Need to get a stop at this point.
Because the problem is the way Rapids runs their offense. If they score from here, they're going to take 4 or 5 minutes to do it. And then what? How many possessions are left when you're down by 2 scores and you're midway through the fourth quarter? So there's some pressure in this spot on the Evergreens defense. This 1st down play, Brostowitz has 4.
The one thing that I do like about the Evergreens
that's a generous spot. He has 5.
Is that they have the passing game on their side, where Rapids doesn't. So playing from a score down, they have the advantage in that. But if they come to 2 scores down, I don't know if there's enough time in the game to overcome that.
Right, and the Evergreens like that run-throw mix. And when you suddenly say, gee, we got to throw the ball downfield, we got to look for big plays downfield, Rapids' defensive line already has 6 sacks in this game. Pitch back, pursuit. Wow, missed tackles down the sideline. Big gain. Brennan Huber, 24 yards. Rapids is just outside the red zone. Evergreens get an easier opponent next week, Hortonville. But for that game to really mean something, the Evergreens need a win here. Rapids still has Marshfield left as they go down the home stretch of their schedule. So the Rapids-Marshfield game becomes meaningful if the Red Raiders are winners tonight. 1st and 10. Handoff, cut back, cutting back again, still on his feet. A 24-yard touchdown run, Leo Brostowitz. So for the first time, one of these teams has just gone up by 2 scores.
Good part is that Rapids scored quick on 2 big plays. Bad part is Everest is down 2 right off the bat in the fourth quarter.
Extra point is good, and our new score, 28-14.
And here's that play again for Rapids on the touchdown. So the first time, it started going outside the tackle, but cut it back in. Saw a hole there. It was right there and able to cut it all the way back. No other blocks really needed as he just had the touchdown right in front of him.
All right, 10:31 left in the game. No ifs, ands, or buts. Evergreens need points on this upcoming drive. And nothing starts us off like a big kickoff return. Dylan Neuenbank and Flynn Hoffman are back to receive this kick. Rapids on this windless night has been able to put most of these kickoffs in the end zone. This will be returnable. Huffman from the 5. Got ahead of steam, 20, gets the outside and gets a block. He's across the 30 and out near the 35-yard line. Pretty good field position. 29-yard kickoff return for Huffman.
And that's the kind of start that Everest wants to see, especially with this series. And Chris, you kind of hit on it. They need to get points on this one.
Right, because with 10 and a half minutes left in the game, there is time for 2 possessions. What you need is a touchdown, a defensive stop, and then get the ball back with enough time left to stay in your regular offense and then try and tie this game. But again, all of that's dependent on coming away with points on this drive. 67 yards of real estate ahead of the Evergreens on first down out to the flat. This is complete. A lot of traffic over there, and that's a reception for 1.5 yards. Pearson McDonald.
So that was the same formation that they set up where they did the running back pop pass and got the big yards right before, I believe it was the fumble, maybe?
Yep. Now, the Evergreens can huddle up, but you know what? They cannot take huge chunks of time between plays. You're not in a hurry up like a 4-minute drill, but you can't wind the play clock down after every play all the time either. Twins to either side on 2nd and 8. Fake the handoff. Huffman, speed, has a block. First down. Out of bounds, stops the clock to the 46. So a lot of good things happened on that play for the Evergreens. Got first down yardage. Clock will stay stopped so you can huddle up, run the offense that you want.
Both teams have had really good success getting outside the tackles tonight. Whether it's been running or passing, done a great job.
Both teams have turned the ball over. Well, Rapids turned the ball over twice. Evergreens have turned it over once, but the Everest turnover was a scoop and score touchdown. Quarterback to throw. Took a big hit, stayed in the pocket, well overthrown, incomplete. Bobinski helped by his lineman back up to his feet. An assist from Brett Kay. Got a whistle here. One of the officials, I think, wants to check on one of the Everest players in the huddle, I think. No? Zebra Conference.
Oh, I bet you, well, based on what I've got, I have 9:27 on our clock. And granted, mine's not official by any means, but I did stop it on the incomplete pass, and we've got 9:16 showing on the scoreboard. So
yeah, you know what? This side judge is coming over and is saying something to the Everest bench about correcting the clock.
Yep. So we'll see where we go from there.
Yeah, the Evergreens may need these seconds that we hope are going to get put back on. And our official clock here in the stadium is reset to 9:26. The Evergreens don't have to abandon the run game here, not by any means. 2nd and 10. See, Run game not abandoned. Blake Bangston has 3 yards. 3rd down. You know, at midfield, down by 2 touchdowns, the Evergreens would probably go on 4th down. So this is probably 2 plays to get down to the Rapids 44-yard line.
The biggest issue that obviously we've seen from the majority of the game has been the offensive line for Everest and not giving Babinski enough time. So this is where the offensive line coach probably pulled them over and said, hey, we got to dig deep. We got to be on our game and give these players the openings and the time to be able to succeed.
2 backs, so an extra running back maybe here to block if Babinski's going to throw. Yeah, extra blockers. This was a spot for a screen. The Evergreens had the right play, but the throw was rushed and was incomplete. And the Evergreens are going to punt.
Now, we have seen this before, Chris, where they'll try to throw them off like with a surprise fake, running it out. And they do have that.
Right, the Evergreens do these rollout punts where the punter could keep it and run. Let's see if that's on the menu here for Cohen Preby. And I think Rapids has taken a timeout. 8:33 to play in the game. Rapids 28, Everest 14. Will the Evergreen punter fake? We'll be back on Ski Sports.
Customize your next apparel order with Maida Custom Apparel of Stevens Point. Visit us today for custom baseball and softball apparel. Need help with a design? We have you covered. Our highly skilled staff will turn your idea into a reality with great quality screen printing. Or choose from a variety of embroidery options today. Visit us at our physical store or online at maidacustom.com.
One of the things that makes a fake punt a little tricky here, Cohen Preby is not the regular punter. So you're asking somebody to do something that he doesn't normally do. I bet the decision really is to kick it away here. High snap. No, he's going to throw, and it's complete. And it's right at the sticks. This is going to depend on the spot.
There is a flag. I thought I saw it.
And there's a flag down 2. This ball is spotted. They'd have to measure. I think where it's spotted, it's short. Oh, my. And we're waiting for an indication on what we believe is a penalty as well. So the Evergreens fake on 1st down. Yeah, that ball is marked short of the 1st down. It would go over on downs, but the penalties against Rapids, it looks like they're going to step off yardage here. First, the referee will come over and say something to the Everest bench. And we will measure.
That's actually a really good spot where the official put it right down. He was right on top of that.
Yeah, I agree with the spot. Short by the length of the football, and the penalty is against the Evergreens. The Rapids bench will decline. Yeah, I don't have any problem with the spot on that. I think, right. Right, side judge came right in. I thought spotted the ball correctly, and it's short. 8:25 left.
And even though it was marked short, I want to give a lot of credit for that wide receiver, because the number one thing that you do as a coach is you tell him, make sure you get to the sticks. He did that. It was a good pass.
Right, if he falls down forward instead of his turn sideways or backwards, he falls forward for the 1st down. Evergreens really have to play for a turnover or a 3-and-out here. Quarterback keeps it back to the line of scrimmage, maybe a yard for Teal Lucas. Matt Groshek came up and made the stop, one of the Rapids linemen is slow getting up. Jelani Payne is in pain and will hobble towards the sidelines. Stop the clock for an injury timeout, at least to give him time to get off the field. We're sponsored tonight by Ag Country Farm Credit Services, a farmer-owned co-op offering a wide array of custom financing and financial services. Loans and leases, crop insurance, tax and records, they've got you covered. Contact Ag Country in Stevens Point to get started. Clock winds after the brief injury stoppage at 2nd and 9. Direct snap in the backfield. Second effort. And that's Brennan Huber. He's short of the first down, but it's 3rd and 2. Rapids beat Everest last year, 37-26 over at their place. And in this rivalry game, Rapids is looking to make it 2 in a row. They need the 46. Handoff, contact behind the line, he didn't get it. Backwards a half yard.
And that was great penetration by the defensive line for Everest and making sure that they're not getting anything on that.
Rapids looks like they're keeping the offense on 4th down. I don't know, I'd punt. You're up by 2 points, by 2 scores. Why would you risk turning the ball over at the middle of the field? Rapids instead goes for it, or will they just try and draw them offside? Yeah, he's not going to snap this ball either. Rapids is going to take a timeout, and they will punt the ball away. Actually, they will not burn a timeout. They'll allow the delay of game penalty and will punt from 5 yards back. Time is going to very quickly become a factor.
Here's the previous play where Everest gets in there and disrupts it and gets a loss.
Yeah, that's a big running back with a big head of steam, and the Evergreens win that time. Dylan Neuenbank is back to receive the punt. Almost blocked. Someone may have gotten a hand on that. That takes a weird roll down to the 10. 41-yard punt.
So now for Everest, I mean, definitely have to be aggressive on this series. Need to have points, and need actually not just the points. Need to have a touchdown at this point.
Sure. I mean, are they in a difficult spot? Yes. Impossible? No. Right at the midway point of the 4th quarter. Rapids led by 7 at halftime, leads by 14 now. Bobinski, snap is low, throw out to the flat. McDonald's got this, cuts back towards the center of the field. He's out near the 20. I think they're going to give him forward progress for a first down. 10-yard gain. Yes, sir.
And this is where Everest wide receivers, Everest running backs need to really have, keep in mind that while they want to get that first down, they want to get more yardage, they've got to keep control of that football.
Preston Miller, who's the deep threat for the Evergreens, is the widest receiver up high. Looking for him over the middle, complete. Spun back. Flynn Huffman has 7 yards. This is all well and good, but we're at 5.5 minutes now. Eventually, you need a shot downfield. Over the middle, little bit of contact, no flag. I think I like that as a no call. I think that's tight coverage. I don't think the defensive back arrived there early. Third down. Exactly 5 minutes to go on our official stadium clock. 1, 2, 3 receivers down to the bottom of your Zaleski Sports screen. Pressure coming. Steps away from trouble. Now flings it over the head of Huffman, out of play. And a big hit again on Bobinski, who is slow getting up. Fourth down. Evergreens have to go for this. Evergreens tried a fake punt on their last fourth down and came up half a yard short. You'll just keep the regular offense here. See, I'm thinking this is fourth. I guess this is third. All right. They're walking off 15 yards. They're saying late hit on the quarterback. Move the ball out to the 42-yard line.
And I know a lot of Everest fans didn't like that, not what they thought was a non-pass interference call. And Chris, you said you were good with that. Really did. That was a great call by the official, non-call.
Out to the sideline, but not a lot of room for Preston Miller, and Miller's still in bounds. So the clock ticks away. A gain of 6 on the first down completion to the 48. Another play called. Evergreens are in go mode. Twins again to either side. Caden Bankston's the extra back near Bobinski. Rolling downfield behind the receiver and incomplete. They sent Huffman all the way down the field, but double covered, so what was open was something underneath. Yeah, Rapids has this defense just the way you would draw it up in the locker room. Nothing behind you, no big play. You'll give up something underneath. Third down. Need to get across the 50 to the Rapids 48. Again, 2 up high and 2 to the near side. Late pressure, downfield, caught. Preston Miller, touchdown. And the Evergreens will make it interesting. That's a 57-yard touchdown pass. .4:17 left in the game. Golbach to try the extra point. Snaps a little bit low. No problem. Kicks good. 28-21.
You know, the one thing that I saw in that last play there for Babinski is he knew that he was going to get hit. And he did a great job of staying in that pocket and accepting that hit, but making a throw that was right on the dime.
So what do you do here, Tony? This is why coaches get the big money. Sometimes even 4 figures at the end of their year on their W-9s. Onside kick or kick it deep? All 3 timeouts.
Yeah, I would say at this point in time, if it was me, I would go for the onside kick. Maybe even a little bit of a pooch kick if you got some speed that can get past the Rapids front. But you definitely, Rapids has had the answers for each of the touchdowns that Everest has gotten. So you don't want to give them that opportunity deep in their end zone or deep in their zone and be able to drive it for 4 minutes.
I would kick away. But you see, different people just see the game differently. And what's the determining factor in my mind is that you can stop the clock 3 times. The onside kick, again, you can argue it either way, but the onside kick really is a low percentage play. Let's see what the Evergreens decide to do. They kick it away. Back to the end zone. And the Everest defense will have 80 yards of field to defend. 4:17 left.
So the interesting part on that one is that kick, it hit at the 1 and then bounced 2 yards in. If it would have hit at the 5, that would have been inside the 5.
Yep.
And they would have had to have picked it up, and Rapids would have been deep in their zone to start off.
All right, so by kicking it deep and not onside kicking, the Evergreens are given a vote of confidence to their defense. The Evergreens are playing this as their defense is good enough to get the ball back for a final drive. They trail by a touchdown. On the ground. And this is a first down, and he went out of bounds. Don't want to do that. You need enough game and situation awareness to go down in the field of play there and keep the clock moving.
Yeah, just based on how Rapids has been running the ball, it certainly would have been better to be 2nd and 1 and keep that clock running. If you're a Rapids fan, just because you've been able to get that 1 or 2 yards in the inside of the tackles.
Yeah, I mean, look, the 10 yards of field position doesn't matter. What matters is the clock stops at 4:10. I mean, there'd be 30 seconds less left in the game if the runner doesn't go out of bounds there. Handoff, this is between the tackles, and it's a gain of 3 for Brostowitz. It's getting to the point now where the Evergreens really could only allow one more first down, and then Rapids could take so much time off. You'd have to begin spending your timeouts.
Correct.
Rapids needs the 40. They gave them 4 on that play. Everest does not spend the timeouts yet. One receiver up high. Yeah, they're not throwing it here. It's a pitch to the side. Evergreens have players there out of bounds. No? Yeah, knees went down inbounds. Clock continues to run. Not enough for first down yardage. The Evergreens are going to spend a timeout. Stop the clock officially with 3:16 left in the game. 3rd and 3.
And the Everest player on that one definitely tried to get the Rapids player out of bounds. You saw the push behind, push in the back, trying to give him a little bit more momentum to save that timeout. Not successful, though.
And the side judge had that right called, too. The runner's knees were down in play, which means the clock would continue to wind. We don't give our Zebras a lot of credit. This has been a well-officiated game. This has been a good crew that we've had tonight.
Absolutely. This is, top-notch crew. They've been there making the calls that need to be called, but really have been unnoticeable. And as an official, that's what you want to have happen.
Right. This game's been decided on the field by the players, not by calls or flags. Here comes 3rd and 3.
I'm going to say this is probably the play of the game right here.
I think you're right. And it is a first down for the Red Raiders. Brostowitz gives Rapids a whole new set of downs. And now, if the Evergreens get the ball back, the Evergreens are going to have just not a lot of time. Under 3 minutes to play in the game. And the Evergreens scored and did not opt for an onside kick. Kicked the ball deep, bidding that their defense can get the ball back. And that part of the equation has yet to show up.
And this is the last set of downs that they can allow Rapids to have. They've got to get a turnover or the ball back.
Pitch to the corner. It's a gain of 3 yards for Brennan Huber. He stayed inbounds. The Evergreens are going to spend a timeout here? Yes, they will. No, this is an injury timeout. Player on the far side for Rapids didn't get up. Now, once the player gets to his feet, we pump up the clock again, and the game clock will run.
The difference with that, though, is that after a play, you have 40 seconds. But when you have a dead ball where the clock is stopped because of an injury timeout, you only have 25 seconds. So that essentially saves Everest 15 seconds.
Yeah, and you know what? Every tick on the clock is going to matter as we come down here. So again, Rapids didn't get a huge play on first down. 2nd and 7. Tony Hollander sees this exactly the right way. If Rapids picks up a first down, if they get down to the 42-yard line, the game's going to be over. They're going to be able to run out the clock. And that's the runner, Brennan Huber, who was the injured player. Boy, what a time for a turnover. Everest defense punched that ball out. We said that when you run the option, usually a couple of times during the game, the ball's been on the ground. That hasn't really been the case. Ball security's been good for Rapids. Be around 2 minutes left in the game when Rapids snaps the ball here on 2nd and 7. Handoff. Wow, they almost had him in the backfield. Only a gain of 1. The Evergreens immediately call their second timeout. Big defensive play for the Evergreens. Cole Stevens. So here comes another biggest play of the game.
All right, I retract my previous statement, Chris. This is going to be the play of the game.
All right, the last time, Rapids converted on the ground on 3rd and 3. This is 3rd and 6. So, I mean, it's a little more favorable situation for the defense.
Absolutely. So, on that 3rd and 3, they got 4 or 5 yards, which in between the tackles, that's their biggest gain that Rapids had all game in between the tackles. So, a phenomenal job of that. Now, with 6 yards, and only getting 2-3 yards, I would venture to guess that this one's probably going to go to the outside.
I got to tell you, Tony, just having seen Rapids play Everest, a pass for everything, for a knockout blow, is not out of the question here. It is 3rd down. Everest desperately needs to get the ball back for its offense. Quarterback keeps it, spins. He is short by 2 yards. I think the Evergreens will use their last timeout immediately. They will. And on 4th and 2, you're going to punt here and pin your opponent back, right?
I don't know. I got to say, if it's the way that Rapids has been going, sustainably getting 2-3 yards, this might be that opportunity for Everest to legitimately stack that box and go for it all. This is the do or die play right here.
I don't know. I've got to kick the ball away. Your opponent's got no timeouts left. You can pin him deep. Your defense, again, has been playing solid.
But they just gave up a 50-yard touchdown pass the last time that Everest had the ball.
Yeah.
And would have gone longer if they had a longer field.
In a one-score game, I'm not turning the ball over to my opponent near the middle of the field. I'm pinning them back. Let's see what Rapids does. The Evergreens, if this is a punt, would get the ball with Rapids is going for it. They are not in punt formation. Crowd rises, cheering the Everest defense on 4th down. Handoff, Brostowitz, he's got it. And with that, Rapids is going to win the game. Rapids goes for it on 4th down. They got 6. And the air has just come out of this place. Rapids is going to hold on for a victory. So after the Evergreens got within 1 touchdown, on the 57-yard touchdown pass, they kicked deep. put faith in their defense that they get the ball back, and it's not going to work out that way. The Evergreens cannot stop the clock. Rapids, I think, could take 3 snaps in victory formation and spoil the Evergreens' homecoming. Yep, everyone's in tight. And taking a knee is Teal Lucas. This was an entertaining game. Congratulations to Wisconsin Rapids. They're deserving winners today. Evergreens never say die. They were a tough opponent. The loss stings for Everest because they fall to 3-3. Some of the momentum from last week's win over Stevens Point kind of goes away now. And Rapids will live to fight another day. You know what? A Rapids-Marshfield game, kind of a rivalry game. That'll be entertaining. I'll be looking forward to that one. That'll be a Zaleski Sports game later in the season. Now under a minute to go. Our game next week, Everest at Hortonville. Evergreens will be favored then. Just a tough loss.
Yeah, well, this has been tough for Everest. I mean, you got to give the Rapids line a pat on the back for doing their job. They owned it. They were the ones that, you know, did a great job of clearing the way for the running backs. So, you know, great job, Rapids. Everest, you know, as we talked about earlier in the season, you just gotta put it aside, and you gotta forget about it. You survive it for one day, and then you move on to the next opponent.
A lot of football still ahead of this Everest team, but it looks like the Evergreens will not be conference champions this year as they fall to 3-3. Rapids keeps their possibilities alive, and they improve to 4-2. The Evergreens had a 7-0 lead after a scoreless first quarter. Jack Bobinski a 1-yard touchdown run, but Rapids tied it up on an Evan Matthews reception for 37 yards. Connor Boopholtz ran it in with 13 seconds left in the half. Rapids led 14-7 at halftime. The Evergreens on the first drive of the second half got down the field and tied it 14 apiece on Bobinski's second touchdown run. The play that put Rapids up for good was a scoop and score fumble. Picked up by Carter Christie and run back 45 yards with 5 minutes left in the third quarter. It put Rapids up 24-21, and they would not look back. Leo Brostowitz added a 24-yard touchdown run, 28-14. And with 4:17 left in the game, Preston Miller caught a 57-yard touchdown pass. The Evergreens were back within one, 28-21, and the Evergreens decided no onside kick. The Evergreens decided to kick downfield, and they did not get the ball back. Repeating our final score, it's Wisconsin Rapids 28, DC Everest 21, in a very entertaining and hard-fought Week 6 high school football game. I'm Chris Conley for Tony Hollander. We'll have some post-game coverage down on the field. Again, this ends our play-by-play tonight. Rapids 7 points better than DC Everest, 28-21. Nasonville Dairy post-game coverage brought to you by Nasonville Dairy. Fresh cheese curds made daily. Get them in Marshfield, Curtis, or online, NasonvilleDairy.com. Evergreens, enjoy the rest of the homecoming events. Have fun at the dance tomorrow. Nice to see so much of the alumni here. But it is Rapids with a happy bus ride home. 28-21's our final score from Stephen Hagen Field at Steam Stadium. Good night, everybody.
Nasonville Dairy, family owned and operated, bringing you fresh cheese curds made daily, along with many other varieties of Wisconsin-made cheeses and treats. Don't forget to check out our cheese and sausage trays For your upcoming parties and cheese and sausage gift packages for the holiday season or any other special occasion, Nasonville Dairy, located just southwest of Marshfield on US Highway 10, NasonvilleDairy.com. All right, so we're here with Kim Hyman. Kim, Nasonville Dairy, 125 years in the making. Tell us about that.
You know, it's fantastic. It was the first plant built in Wood County back in 1885. Sal Nason and his family came here, and they started a small dairy plant. Eventually that plant burnt down, but then they rebuilt onto this same facility, and our family moved here in the late 60s in 1968 and took it over from there, and it's been just a fantastic growth. Great community, great people we have working for us. Oh, it's an open market. It's huge. You know, the opportunity for the diversity in the cheese industry is fantastic, and you have to be that way in order to sell a lot of product. And so we've got a great group of people working on the research and development side for us. So it's been really fortunate for us. Oh, right. We have 185 farm families that market their milk through us here at Nasonville Dairy. And we are so lucky we have like the best dairy farms in not only in central Wisconsin, but in the United States, marketing milk through us. So we're just really fortunate on that side.
Actually, we started in 1968. Our father brought us here from another cheese plant in Wisconsin. We had come from the cheese business. We've always been in the business. We had moved around the state in different parts. He brought us here about that time. The plant ran 7,500 pounds of milk at that time, and now runs about 1.5 million a day. So. We originally started out with making cheddar, and now we make cheddar, Colby, Monterey, Farmers cheese, pizza cheese, Quesa Blanca, Quesa de Friar, Seco, Parma, Romano, Asiago, Fontina, Feta Caseri, Cafetieri, Capla Graviera, as well as making some Gouda Edam and a little bit of Munster on occasion.
Let me know when we're good. On the field with DC Everest head coach Tim Strelo after a 28-21 homecoming loss to Wisconsin Rapids. I give the boys credit. That's a tough Rapids defense. They didn't give up. Thought the offense moved the ball a little better on the two scoring drives in the second half.
Yes, absolutely. And we got things adjusted, and I thought the kids did well, but we came down to that one big mistake, and that really hurt us. But yeah, I was proud of our kids for hanging in there, figuring things out. We found some weaknesses in their defense, and we were able to adjust, but just wasn't enough tonight.
It felt like the kind of game where you couldn't go down by 2 scores, and you went down by 2 scores on the fumble and the scoop and score. So, I mean, otherwise, you just wish that the game could have been decided on just regular offense versus defensive plays.
That would have been really nice, but yeah, unfortunately, it came down to our mistake, and we've been trying to preach that with the kids all week, and the little things do make a difference, and this little thing really got us.
So we're talking during the Zaleski Sports broadcast. You score the touchdown and get back within 1. There's a little more than 4 minutes left. And, up in the booth, we disagreed. One guy saying, onside kick here. And I'm saying, hey, you kick away and you put your faith in your defense. And in the end, you didn't get the ball back. Those are just really tough decisions. The onside kick is a low percentage play. The defense had been playing good enough that you think you'd get the ball back. They converted a 3rd down and a 4th down, and you didn't get it back.
Yeah, we were having that same conversation on the sideline.
Sure,
I think some of our coaches were thinking, onside. Some of us were thinking kick it deep. And unfortunately, I made the call, and that call didn't work out for us. And, I guess that's the way it rolls. But, like you said, the onside kicks are tough kicks. And, for us to complete something like that would have been difficult. But never know. Maybe it would have worked.
Yeah, I mean, for fans, because there's always second guessing after a game. An onside kick works what? 1 out of 10 times, 1 out of 8 times. And stopping a defense, or getting a defensive stop on 3rd or 4th down, is just a much more common, much more likely scenario.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. Their offense just kept us off balance a little bit, especially at that end there. I thought we had them wrapped up, and then they busted through. So, yeah, probably hindsight, maybe I should have kicked the onside, but hey, it is what it is.
Right. Coach, there's a lot of football left still, and yet this is a tough loss because 3-3 means what? You got to win 2 of your last 3 games here.
Yes, absolutely. And that's what we had talked about coming into the game. We could really control our own destiny coming in, but we lost this one. We really have to get back to work, and these are going to all start counting a little bit more now.
Coach, good luck the rest of the way. Thanks for the chat afterwards.
Thank you.
All right, our final score, homecoming, Wisconsin Rapids salts away the clock after the Evergreens got within 1 touchdown. Rapids goes home with a 28-21 win. On the field at Stephenhagen Field at Steam Stadium, I'm Chris Conley for Zaleski Sports.